Real quick, just stepping in to remind everyone that I have a movie channel. Check out my movie channel if you want. It's Jackson Kruger Movies. The link is in the description below, so if you're tired of just hearing my bad sports takes and want to also hear some bad movie takes, make sure you check that out. Again, link is in the description below. Jalen Carter was selected with the 9th overall selection in the 2023 draft. He was many people's number 1 overall defensive player in that draft, including myself. However, obviously fell due to some character concerns, some off-the-field issues, things like that. The Eagles said, you know what, let's take a chance, because if it works out, we could have a star player, and so far it has worked out. So let's just get into the film and talk about what he's done so well for the Philadelphia Eagles. For example, starting off with this play, the way this is going to work is it's going to be a, kind of a double team block right here, where there's going to be multiple Minnesota Vikings players who can block him. Although really, I would say that the guard is going to quickly get up to the next level to block somebody else. This is going to be a rushing play, so that's the way it's designed to work. And really what jumps out at you when you're watching Jalen Carter film is just how fast his first step is. He moves really quickly, and you'll see it on this play. Watch him almost immediately get around the center, and now he's just in a free shot towards the running back. Of course, this does not mean you have made the play. You're in a pretty good spot to make the play, but you still have to find a way to make the play. And so how is Carter going to go about doing that? Well, watch him be able to get over and make the tackle as well. These are the types of highlight reel plays that he was certainly putting on display in Philadelphia, and with pretty good, pretty often as well. It wasn't like this was just one or two of the splash plays he made last year. He was consistently making these plays. Like this one's another one where it's going to be a 1st down and 10. You see, it's the offensive lineman who's going to go try to block him at the line. It's going to be the guard here as the center is pulling out to block someone at the next level. But again, watch Carter just run right by him and gets to the running back right away and gets that immediate tackle. And a play like that is honestly really helpful because, we always talk about the running game and how important is the running game, how important is having a good running back, all of that stuff. But just thinking logically, if you can make a play like this, it's turning what could have been let's just take a normal running play, could have been a 2nd down and 6, turning it into a 2nd down and 12 completely changes the dynamic. You're essentially forcing your opponent to have to pass on the next 2 plays, and in doing that, now, as a pass rusher, you can know that a passing play is coming and hopefully get to the quarterback that way. So now let's go over here. That serves as a nice transition to talk about what he does in the pass rush game, which of course is going to be what gets the headlines, gets the most attention. It's the most exciting part of a pass rusher is, how they rush the passer, right? Makes sense. On this play, he's essentially going up one-on-one against a center right here. The guard kind of will block him a little bit, but it's mostly going to be a one-on-one block. Look at how when this play begins, like I said, there's that little bit of help, but right here, he's in a one-on-one situation, and what really shows as well with Carter is not just that first step, but his hands and how well he uses his hands to win. He's in a pretty good situation right now, has already driven the center pretty far back, right in Mayfield's face, so that alone has at least disrupted Mayfield to some degree. But here's what takes it up a notch is you see Carter's left hand and how it's on the right side of the center's body. Watch him kind of knock him off to the side and then knock him back over to the other side once Mayfield tries to get around that way. And when help comes, Carter is able to help make that play work, help get the sack right there. These are the things that Carter, again, does consistently. Like this one's another one where this is going to be against the Rams right here, but it's going to be a one-on-one block as well. This is going to be one-on-one block against a center. And when it begins right here, you see the situation where once again, it's that right hand getting kind of on the left side of the center's body. That's the way this is working. Watch him knock the center off to the side, quickly gets over and is able to swing Matt Stafford to the ground as well. It's these types of plays that do kind of sometimes remind you of like Aaron Donald, a player who played for the Rams, right? Of like not just getting to the quarterback, not just getting pressure, but getting it so quickly. And honestly, a play like this is another one I really like to see from someone like Carter, where you see where he is on this play, and this one is going to go differently than the other ones we talked about. When Mayfield takes the snap, this time Tampa Bay has several guys on Carter. They blocked him out of the way. Good job by them. The offensive line did their job, but there really isn't a guy to throw to down the field. Mayfield has enough time, though, to get to through his progressions. He's going to decide to just take a check down. And you see Carter, he kind of just reassess, trying to see if he can maybe get to Mayfield, make sure that Mayfield doesn't get to the outside, right? But when Mayfield makes this throw, watch Carter's hustle to get over, and he actually knocks that football out, and the Philadelphia Eagles recovered it. Really important play. Sure, a lot of the times these plays are, you could argue it's a bit fluky of like, okay, the running back happened to not see you, didn't have the ball secure, all that stuff. But again, it's these hustle plays of like being able to just, find a way to make an impact even when the play, at the beginning did not work out as designed. I do think one thing you could talk about with Carter is like, his advanced stats were great. His advanced stats were great last year, but they did kind of start to falter a little bit towards the end of the season. Like, he was so dominant to start the year, wasn't quite as dominant as the year progressed. Is also a guy who had, under 600 snaps last year. So I guess the thing you look at is he someone that maybe you're hoping for more from with that selection? I don't know how much more you could really hope for, though, because even when he, quote-unquote, wasn't as good in the second half, he was still great. Some of these highlights were from the second half, and he was so dominant in the first half that, like, that's not going away. I think, if anything, teams realized that even on a loaded defensive line that the Eagles had, Carter was the main guy they have to pay attention to, and maybe that's why, the defense was kind of rough all year due to the poor secondary, but why you maybe saw it get even a little bit rougher towards the end of the year was they were doing what they can to take Carter out of the area. Now, I guess the other criticism is, I talked about advanced stats. Run defensive numbers, he has the highlights. They're, like, only good, I guess is what I would say. Like, his run defense isn't elite like his pass rush is in terms of advanced stats. So those are the negatives, is he's a good run defender and elite pass rusher who still makes incredible splash plays in run defense, which is, like, if he was only out there for his run, if his pass rush wasn't good, he would still be out there because his run defense is still really good. It's just his pass rush is what makes him special. So, yeah, there really aren't many critiques to say about him. He's someone who was supposed to be really good and has even, exceeded the high expectations that were there. So, I guess the other point you can make, and we can end with this, is how do we feel about someone like a Jalen Carter, who is this incredible prospect who maybe has some character issues, and because of that, teams are less likely to take a chance on. To be honest, I do kind of understand the logic behind not wanting to draft someone like him. Sure, it always looks like a great move when it works out, but you don't want an Isaiah Wilson situation with the Titans, where you draft Isaiah Wilson, he never works out, doesn't play a snap, and now you've completely lit a pick on fire. And that was a late first rounder. If you're doing that with top 10 pick, that can get you fired if you missed that pick. So I can understand maybe saying, you know what, I'll take the guy who maybe isn't quite as great of a prospect over you, because in theory, next year rolls around and maybe you say, okay, you know what, we got the third best player in that draft class, but at least we didn't get the worst player in that draft class. That's the risk. That's the argument. But the flip side is that, pick 9, if you're a good team like the Eagles, were coming off of the Super Bowl, why not take a chance, try to get a star player? Because at the end of the day, you don't win Super Bowls with the good players. You win Super Bowls with great players. So he's been a great player for them. Those are my thoughts on Jalen Carter. What are your thoughts on Jalen Carter? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.